We first got together previewing ACC football during the offseason. Virginia was a complete afterthought. We would at times get through the entire conference. Oh, guess we got to say something about Virginia. It was just a dormant program for about 10 years. Now, Mendenhall has stepped in, went from 2-10 to getting to a bowl game, getting obliterated by Navy, but at least getting to postseason play for the first time in a long time in Charlottesville. Then this year, they contend for the division championship. They lose the one key game that could have gotten them there to Pitt. They lose to Virginia Tech for the umpteenth consecutive year. So that accomplishment hasn't come yet. But they do get to a decent bowl game at 7-5, cap off the year at 8-5, demolishing South Carolina 28-0. So Bronco Mendenhall appears to have something going there at Virginia. They've got the one trip to Notre Dame to highlight the non-conference schedule. And, of course, they've got the Coastal Division in front of them to try to see if they can carve out a division championship.
It sets up relatively well for Virginia. They got a lot of talent returning. They got Bryce Perkins returning. That's a big deal. The defense was young and pretty good this past season, one of the better defenses in the conference. You do have some playmakers returning on offense, although Olamide Zaccheaus will be gone. He was their leading receiver this year. So a lot of talent returning for Virginia, especially on defense. You're returning your starting quarterback who had a really solid first year in the system as a transfer. You got an opener against Pittsburgh that's winnable. You play William & Mary in week 2. That's winnable. Florida State's a tough game, but you get them at home. Old Dominion in week 4. That's a winnable game. At Notre Dame, that's going to be tough. Bye week. At Miami, that could be tough. But then you got home against Duke, at Louisville, at North Carolina. I like Virginia's chances to go 3-0 in that stretch. Then you got home game against Georgia Tech, which could be difficult, but I think Virginia's the better team. So, Virginia should be favored there. Another bye week. Liberty, that's a win. And then you got Virginia Tech at home, which, look, Virginia hasn't won the rivalry game in 15 years against the Hokies. Mark, I'm a Virginia Tech grad. That makes me feel great. I love it. I love holding that over UVA fans' heads. Even in their best years, they can't get by Virginia Tech. Last year, I thought was the year to do it. This year, given all the departures and transfers, at least as we sit here in January looking at this game, I think that's a winnable game for Virginia. They get it at home. But I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not going to chalk that up as a win until they actually get the job done and finish the drill. They haven't done it in 15 years. They haven't done it when they've had much better teams than Virginia Tech has had, and Virginia Tech's been at their worst. UVA still hasn't been able to get it done. I think at this point it's in their heads almost. So until they get it done, I'm not going to chalk that up as a win for Virginia, even if on paper they look like they're the better team. So look, UVA can win 8 or 9 games with the schedule. If they're able to get over the hump against Virginia Tech, I think this could be a 10-win season. Just given what they have returning, given how the schedule is laid out, I'm bullish on UVA more than most teams in the Coastal, more than most other teams in the Coastal Division, just because A, they're returning their starting quarterback, and B, they're returning most of a defense that was very, very good in 2018. And I think Bronco Mendenhall has done an outstanding job, and he's really turned the corner with that program. And I think that 2019 is a year where they really need to take a step forward and become a consistent program that's getting to bowl games regularly and getting over the hump against their rivals in state, and really making headway towards recruiting if that's what they want to do. This is the year to get it done.